All right, y'all. The transfer portal is now closed. Let's see how things ended up. Okay, I've only found one good source to give me good numbers around what's happening with the transfer portal this year, and that is on3.com. I've heard numbers as large as 10,000 athletes entered the football portal and numbers as small as 2 or 3,000 athletes. Okay, but the only source that has given me complete information is on3.com. And according to them, 3,311 athletes have entered the portal. Now, I do not know if that's all divisions, all conferences, any of that, but they give names, schools, stats, etc. So I can see all 3,311 athletes. So I trust their numbers at a minimum. Okay, so according to them, in 2026, this past portal season, 3,311 athletes, football athletes, entered the portal, and 2,102 had committed as of today, which is the 20th of January. The portal closed a few days ago. But what we understand about the portal is the portal closing stops nothing. It just means that new entrants can no longer get into it. But there's still plenty of activity. So that means that 63% have committed. Of those that we know that entered, 63% committed, which means that 37% did not. And those guys are sitting over there right now on mama's couch. Now, in 2025, on3.com reported that 4,190 athletes entered the portal, and 34% of them remained uncommitted, sitting over there on mama's couch. Okay? So that means that if we follow this reporting, and I've seen other reporting by the NCAA indicating that the transfer portal window season this year had 20 some odd fewer percent folks entering it than last year. And you may say that doesn't feel right. Well, keep in mind, this year we had 2 weeks and one window. Last year we had 6 weeks and 2 windows, 4 weeks in the fall and 2 weeks in the spring. And people could keep hopping in that sucker the entire time. So it felt less chaotic last year because, in fact, it was less chaotic last year. In any event, it looks like the numbers are down for this year over last year in terms of the pure reporting that we can identify. So 35, 36, 40% still sitting on mama's couch. We got that percentage last year. So you can add those guys to this year's number. The numbers of guys still sitting on the couch is pretty big. Okay. Now, so there's two sides of this coin. Transfer portal makes millionaires, and it makes guys who've given up all their dreams in the hopes of potentially being millionaires. Okay. So what's on the flip side of that? So now recall some of the drama that has happened. A couple of weeks ago, the whole Demond Williams situation at the University of Washington, where he had committed to a new deal, $4+ million, 4.7, I think, $million a year, decided he was going to hit the portal, and all kinds of chaos erupted because he did not do it properly. His agent didn't know, nobody knew. And we discussed how nobody was honoring and respecting the contract. Okay. The athlete wasn't respecting the contract. The football coach wasn't respecting the contract, and the school that was seeking to get the athlete to enter the portal, none of those people were respecting the contract. But Demond Williams, as we know, ended up staying, so the contract held. What's happened this week? Well, Darian Mensah at Duke. So we know that shady Miami doesn't have a new QB1 after Carson Beck finished his last game yesterday. So they apparently, that's the reporting, have gone after Darian Mensah. And apparently they offered him to buy out the $4 million he had on the contract with Duke. Now that money would not go to Darian Mensah, that money would go to Duke, okay, to buy the contract out. Then he would get a $6 million deal. Apparently there was a full ride scholarship for his sister who plays sports in Oregon, who would move down to Miami, an Adidas campaign, and country club housing, whatever that means. Okay, so now none of that is done yet because Duke is like, hold up, wait a minute. I got a contract with you. I'm not wearing my lawyer hat today, so we're not going to talk a whole bunch about the law. But as I understand it, they are seeking an injunction to enforce that contract. And he signed a 2-season deal at $4 million a year. And that contract prohibits another school from using his NIL. And so he's stranded. Okay, so his name, image, and likeness cannot be used at this new school until this old issue is resolved with Duke. So he's stuck right now. So all that's happening. Okay, then we've got guys who want to hang on. Trinidad Chambliss is now the poster child for guys that want to hang on. So he's suing the NCAA for another year eligibility because what he did down at Division II at Ferris State, he said shouldn't count against him. And maybe he should have gotten a red shirt in 2023, but he didn't, but he said he should have. And the NCAA is like, whoa, doggy, wrong information. I don't see the medical hardship, not granting it. So now he is suing the NCAA. Interestingly, most athletes sue the NCAA in federal court. His attorney went forum shopping. So Trinidad Chambliss' attorney filed a suit in state court in Mississippi with a friendly judge that is a former QB himself and went to Ole Miss for law school. So lawyers call that forum shopping. I wish I had on my lawyer hat because that was some lawyer talk. All right. So on one side of the house, we got people threw their hat into the ring, didn't have a good plan, didn't work out like they thought, hit the portal, stuck in it over there on the couch. You got this other side of the house, which is a far smaller side of the house, by the way, where you got folks hanging on for dear life, and Trinidad Chambliss is one of those people. All right. Now, eligibility is all the conversation. Last year, the NCAA received 1,450 waiver requests for more years of eligibility, and they granted roughly 2/3 of those. Okay, so we got all these guys saying, I want more playing time. Something happened. I had, so I got my red shirt year. I want a medical waiver. I want a hardship waiver. I want a JUCO waiver. So these guys, 7, 8-year guys, 6, 7, 8-year guys. Okay. Now, you also may recall the Patterson plaintiffs, the guys who said, we came in ready. Why should we not get a 5th year? They were unsuccessful with their injunction. So right now the 4-season rule holds. Okay. But you got Joey Aguilar trying to follow up on Diego Pavia's ability to get the JUCO waiver. And so that waiver was for 1 year. Okay. And though Diego Pavia is seeking to have that injunction made to be permanent, right now it's going to expire. And so Joey Aguilar is similarly situated and says, I don't want my JUCO years to count against me. And so he is filing a claim so he could stay at Tennessee. Because if you recall, Joey Aguilar had moved up from, I can't remember where he was, but he went to UCLA. Then the whole fiasco happened with Nico. They just traded schools, right? So he's at Tennessee. So he wants relief from the JUCO eligibility rules. Okay. So money is clearly a motivator here. Okay. But it does beg the question, how long is too long to be a college athlete? Is there a certain period of time where we should say you either aged out or you played out, and it's other people down here at the bottom of the funnel that we want to, maybe at the top of the funnel that we want to give a chance? Are we talking about that? I understand money's a huge motivator, right? The average college grad computer science major is going to graduate and make $105,000, $110,000 a year. You got some of these guys making that right now at lower levels of compensation. Now, clearly, everybody is not getting $6 million deals. And I know it feels like everybody is, but everybody is not getting that kind of money. But if you are going to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, you are making your top earning money now, potentially, depending on if you ever graduate and if you graduate in a degree in a major that has some potential for real money making. So just understand that all the problems that we have with pro athletes running out of money is now we're just pushing it downhill earlier into the conversation with these college athletes. 78% of pro athletes end up in financial distress within 2 years of leaving the NFL. 78% within 2 years end up in financial distress. Okay? Because that money stops. But you're spending it like it's not going to stop. And I'm concerned that these same athletes, okay, who are now just getting that money sooner, and more of them, because many of these guys will never have a pro day in their life, okay, are earning most of their money now, but they aren't acting like it. And so I'm hoping that these young men are learning to spend well to make this money stretch. But we will see what happens in some years. So two sides of the same coin. A lot of money on one side of the house, people sitting on mama's couch on the other side. I wish the best for everybody. It's a crazy world out there in this transfer portal streets. As always, let me know what you think.